Hey, what's up guys? Kane here with XBLA fans. I'm going to be giving you a quick taste of Megaton Rainfall. Now, Megaton Rainfall is a superhero simulator, and it also answers the question, what would happen if a supreme being communicated with early 90s PowerPoint effects? Because that to me was the biggest takeaway of this entire game. So Megaton Rainfall is kind of interesting. It was in VR on other platforms. Obviously, that is not currently an option on Xbox One. I've played through, I believe, about 4 missions now of the game. That took me about, I would say, maybe an hour or so. So I'm still fairly early in the game, but these are kind of my impressions so far having played it. It does a lot of things really cool, like the ability to just enter and exit planets, break the sound barrier. You can just feel like you're going really, really quickly. You have some pretty cool powers, and you continue to get new ones every single level so far. So, like I can stop time. I can, shoot heat vision. I can, like, throw fire blasts, and I can, like, blow up like a nuclear bomb. Now, the problem I have with all those kind of abilities, I'll get into in a little bit, and that's that this game kind of focuses on some cool stuff like some mass destruction. You've got these enemies that are just appearing out of nowhere. They're these crazy robots, and they just start, destroying cities, and you have to basically be the superhero that saves them. And the game's got this whole thing going on throughout it where you're kind of collecting these different, boxes and getting different powers. I believe I have 4 of 16. So like I said, I'm still fairly early in the game. The game also does have a couple different modes. However, you have to complete the game to be able to play those. And I have not done that yet, so I don't have the just free exploration mode. Or the, I believe it's a time attack mode or something. And honestly, I think the free exploration mode is probably going to be where this game shines the most. Because the thing that this game does that it does really well is the ability to just kind of seamlessly enter and exit the planet. You break the sound barrier. You kind of see all these cool things going on. Like, we're just going to literally, fly around our solar system here real quick. And it's just completely pointless, but it's kind of awesome at the same time. So, you're just kind of like going around and just following this guy. And you just get these cool little views. And I mean, the game is not necessarily, the most graphically impressive. I mean, compare some of this stuff to, say, something in, like, No Man's Sky, and obviously you're not looking at the same thing. But when you get to where you're actually inside a city and you're seeing the level of destructibility that is actually available, it becomes pretty cool. I'm going to jump ahead. You don't need to see that whole thing where we, explore the universe. It's kind of a little pointless for this context. But this is what I mean, like, the cities, yeah, they're a little kind of generic in a sense. They all look very similar. It's not like you're going to suddenly be like, oh man, this is definitely New York, or oh man, this is definitely Paris. But you get some cool different things. And the enemies all have a weak point typically, which is this glowing red dot. One of the things about this game, though, is you have to be super, super careful that you don't destroy things while you're trying to kill the enemies. So this is the first time I've seen this new enemy. It creates kind of, as you can see, holograms of itself to kind of distract you so that you don't destroy the correct one. And that makes it a little more difficult because you got to figure out which one you can't fly through. And then you can shoot it and it's like glowing redness and it just falls and explodes. And there's a lot of different enemy variety to this game. That's something they've done pretty well. The fact that they all have kind of like a weak spot is actually kind of nice as well. So you're not just sitting there shooting at bullet sponges if you correctly aim at the right spot. Now, the thing you've got to always be careful about with this game is you can't just blindly shoot. You'll destroy people that you're trying to protect. And that's something you got to be super, super careful with. It was actually the first time I used that laser beam. It's actually a pretty cool ability. And when I got a little more used to it, I realized that it's probably actually your best attack right now. And throughout, missions or whatnot, you'll travel from city to city, just kind of chasing these aliens that are invading, trying to protect. And it kind of just highlights the way that the game uses, supersonic speed and all that to kind of just make you feel very powerful. You can look down and you can see your feet. That's actually kind of a nice little touch. And I feel like this game would have been really cool in VR in particular. I think that's probably where this game shined, because honestly, graphically it's not the most impressive, but when you consider the fact that, like, the most unique aspect of this game is the destructibility. However, you're here trying to protect it, not allowing things to be destroyed. So you're, in essence, trying to keep the coolest part of the game from happening, which seems a little bit of a mistake in some ways. Because when it comes down to it, the coolest things you can do is fly straight through a building and just knock it out while flying. I mean, the ability to pause and shoot stuff is great. I have a super laser beam I could use, but obviously if I shoot that anywhere near a building, it takes out an entire city block, so I can only use it by firing it straight in the air. And in general, I have to be super careful of every time I shoot, because I could accidentally just take out a building and do more damage than the thing I'm trying to kill. And that's a cool concept in the sense of you're trying to simulate what it's like to be a superhero, but it's also the least fun aspect of what it's like to be a superhero. If you were to ask me what would be cool about being Superman, my number one answer would not be making sure I don't accidentally cause, you know, chaos. Like, collateral damage is not the cool part of being a superhero. If you've seen any of the Marvel movies in particular, you've seen the fact that the Hulk and them just kind of cause chaos. And every once in a while, people get a little upset at how much chaos gets called. There's an entire movie, Batman vs. Superman, to just kind of highlight that aspect in a sense. Whether or not it was a good movie, let's ignore. But, you know, like, collateral damage is kind of something that just happens. And when it comes to being a superhero, that is by far not the fun aspect. The fun aspect would be the ability to feel powerful. So I'd want to be able to use my abilities as much as humanly possible. I'd want to be able to just randomly level an entire city block if I wanted to. And that's kind of completely against what this game is. Again, this is a new enemy. I had no idea what I was looking at. I kept seeing this building and I'm like, it looks like it's out of place. And that's actually what the enemy was it just kind of transformed into a building. And that's what's kind of cool about this game, is the enemy types are actually very diverse. There's a lot of cool things going on. Again, I have to be super careful because I'm pretty sure I killed the thing, and then shot again, which caused my shot to do more damage. So I think I'm going to end up losing this and having to, you know, restart. But nice thing is the game does checkpoint very well. You're never really going to be put in a situation where it feels like you just have to continue to redo the level. Now, my guess is that the way this game is balanced, it is very difficult to do a level perfectly until you have more abilities. Because it does seem like I could go back and replay some of these, and I've been mostly getting really low scores. And that's with me trying to focus on not destroying stuff. That's with me going out of my way to not have fun in a sense and not go crazy. Because, like, I do have this super blast right here. If I use this and I shot it down, it would level an entire city block. You'd end up with like a mushroom cloud of doom. And we got to be super, super careful to never do that, because you don't want to see that happen. It'll completely lose you the level instantly. But it is a decent move if you do need to take out a group of people in the air. So, I mean, you can constantly hear screaming, you know, women and children in the game, which is just a little off-putting at times, you know, to listen to, even though it makes sense in the context of the game. But I mean, just what I've played of this game so far is it does a lot of things pretty right, but at the same time, there's just enough of the game that makes you kind of question the thought processes and stuff. Because for me, at least, it borderlines on that is it fun territory. Because when I was playing this on stream, we played a bunch of the levels there, and the people watching as well as I were just kind of like, this seems like I don't get to do the cool stuff. And I mean, that's just kind of been my perspective of it so far, is it's a giant kind of protect mission, which at least in games, those are normally my least favorite type of missions. So I know for a fact that this is something that just immediately does not fit what I typically like in games. So, you know, it's nice being able to do this, you know, pause and, you know, kind of shoot this thing. Fortunately, this is one of those enemies that I have to wait till it actually starts to destroy the city before I can even do damage to it. I'm killing the city by just missing over and over. But I have to shoot it as it's charging up its laser beam. So there's a lot of enemy variety, and that's done well. So, I mean, just kind of looking at this game, you should be able to tell pretty quickly if this is for you. They do some things pretty well. The enemy variety in particular, I think, is really strong. I like the fact that I do feel like I could be a pretty powerful being. I love the destructibility. Just being able to fly through a building while going super speed is awesome. Watching floors fall down and collapse on top of your head, really, really cool. If you'd gotten to be the villain in this game, and these were, you know, like defense units out to try to kill you or something, this could have probably been a little more fun in my opinion. But that's just me. I kind of like to destroy stuff. But I mean, like, when the big hype point to this game to me is the fact that the entire city is completely destructible. It seems a little weird that I'm not allowed to kind of, like, engage with that and keep going with that. But this has been Megaton Rainfall. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick taste. Please do check out some of our other quick tastes, and please do like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. And definitely thank you guys so much for sharing this content. If you guys have any questions about this game, feel free to ask. And if you have any questions about any other games that have come out on Xbox One, feel free to ask as well. We're more than happy to help you guys out any way we can. We try to make some awesome content for you guys, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Anyways, guys, later.